in your software development journey, आपने कभी ना कभी pagination जरूर use किया होगा. Maybe to build a dashboard, right? Where you want data in chunks and your data set is used, right? And most of the time, on the backend side, we make use of page object, right? To implement the pagination, okay? So this is how your code would look like, right? When you implement the pagination. Here, I have hard-coded the page number and page size, right? But in real-world applications, it's dynamic. But do you know that leveraging page object for implementing pagination is quite expensive operation? How? Let's try to understand it. Here, I am using GPA repository method find all to get the list of users exist in the database, right? But internally, Hibernate triggered two different SQL queries, right? The first SQL query to get the list of users based on the page number and page size. So this is how your query will look like, right? And second query is for getting the count of total number of users exist in the database, right? So let's verify it right away. So I am hitting my API, okay, get API, and I have put my debugger over here. When I run this debugger, you will see, we can see two different queries getting executed in the console, right? So obviously for a small data sets, this is fine, right? Let's say you have 100 of records and you are building some dashboard for the admin. This implementation is fine and you won't see any performance issue with this implementation. But your data set is used and you have thousands of records in your database, your performance may hit because of this implementation. Because for each and every API call, internally it is executing two different SQL queries. So what's the solution we have, okay? Instead of using page object, we can make use of slice also, okay? This is how we can implement the pagination with the help of slice. Now, the beauty slice brings on the table is when you use slice, Hibernate do not execute two different SQL queries internally, okay? So let's verify it right away. So here if you see, I can see only one query is getting executed, right? Not the count query. So how the slice tracks that the records exist for the other page or not, right? Or when you call the hashnext method, how slice will identify that the records are present for the other page or for the next page or not, right? So what it does, let's say your page size is 10 and your page is 1. So what it will do, it will fetch the 11 records. However, it will give you the 10 records in the response only. But first time it will fetch the 11 records to check whether the records exist for the next page or not, right? But so by fetching one extra record every time, it identifies whether the records exist for the next page or not. But if we see the page implementation here, the hashnext is based on the count, right? So what I would recommend, whenever you have very huge data set, it is recommended to use the slice, right? And you are not very interested with the count of the total number of records present in the database, right? If you are just concerned about the records, right, which you want to provide in the response, make use of slice.